And as we are heading into draft, I want to throw to our beloved Pedro over here. Tell us more about this map. We already saw Willow pick before. Why is she so good here?
I think Willow can give you, this is a really early pick because give you all the a lot of control in the map. Also, it's a thrower that you are always afraid. What should I pick if they go a thrower or not, right? And Willow is already a thrower that can defend himself pretty good and give you already from the first pick already that goal possibilities.
So B coming in as a mid, which is super traditional here. And I think they're going to pair this specifically with Stu because they want that wall break. If you're going to face a Willow, like you mentioned, one of the ways that you kind of have to deal with it is by tearing everything down. Otherwise, Willow's just going to have her way. A popular brawler like Spike you see in that band stage doesn't typically do well into throwers. So having B, if you're going to run that risk, you better have wall break around side it.
I do like the Stu idea here. Griff could have been another one to open up the map, but Stu just a tad bit better as he can also go aggressively. We already have seen, though, if you have two one-shot brawler against you, you could come in with a Charlie here. Was the solution in the previous match to have something against those single hit brawlers, those little spawners? Mina's going to be the pick first. Super aggressive, and then also Frank.
Yeah, I mean, the Frank, I think, was a must pick because you can see that with B and Stu, the Frank could be an insane last pick, right? And it's better. And sadly, we don't have too many counters for Frank these days, so it's better to pick it and you decide if you want to open or not. But yeah, it was must. And Mina is a really good flex brawler, can be mid against B, dodge and a bit, put the shield, put in some pressure. And Kenya's last pick is really interesting because now you have something to go for the Willow, and you fit a lot against the other two.
We have an aggressive play now on both sides. The playmaker Kenji versus Mina. Stu on the one hand to open up the map. Willow's gonna struggle quite a bit there, but with Frank on her side, she shouldn't be struggling too much as yeah, he can protect her pretty much from the Kenji, I feel. Pretty balanced draft here overall. Kenny, if you had to choose one, which one would it be?
I'm going to go with left-hand side, I think, to win this one. I feel good. I feel like the Frank was almost forced. I like that there's two powerful brawlers on that right-hand in, but on the left-hand side, just a great strategy overall. Rattle Hive to kick things off for Olimpo Squad, and Mina already backed away. Verbal approaching on that top left-hand side. Ball dished away, and Coway nowhere to walk. Verbal with a nice flank here. Jubileo has to go closer and closer to that net. A desperate windmill just to try and keep them up with the HP too high. An interception, though, a little misplaced ball will cost them.
Yeah, I think we're gonna expect to have an insane amount of kills and fights in this game, right? We're gonna see so many super pop-off and hypercharge even. They have insane hypercharge, all of them, and yeah, it's more about what value they get from the abilities. Kenji will have 2 or 3 hypercharge every game, I guess, and once the map is open, B will pop off. So it's about if Eternal can score early goals, because later is the worst for them.
Yeah, and especially now that we're about 40 seconds into this. Motep finally getting a super down. Brabao being mind-controlled. Callaway, though, hypercharged super just lets loose on the middle of the map as Motep dribbles. Gonna debate. Jubileo playing it patience. Knows that as a lone brawler, especially with a respawning Brabao, that would not be smart to approach the net.
And now the walls are starting to open. As I said, yeah, the Willow is gonna start to suffer, but the teammates need to push a lot of pressure so he can get that invisible walls, right, to make something. If not, he's gonna suffer a lot.
Dish forward, and now Brabao wide open. Green grass ahead of him. It'll be Olimpo Squad knocking in the first goal. Plenty of hypercharges available, though, for Eternal. They're certainly not out of it yet, but a hypercharge for Brabao. He smells blood in the water. Motep in trouble. Backed away. Brabao strikes. And now on the other end as well. B there to walk alongside them. And a triple Brabao on the map. We're just going to teleprompter it, folks. I have no idea who's who, but 3 straight brawlers named that. Just know they're all Olimpo players.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really hard game for Willow on late, so they need to really make some pressure with the Frank at the start so they can score some early goals. Also, it's really hard, right, because you have to do that break right away. So, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to call them their brawler names because there are 3 Brabaos on the map, so they're playing mind games with the casters as well. If I don't know what they're doing, I mean, what are they going to do on the other side to predict it? Kenji up in the air, and now a super going down for Coway. Strikes. Ooh, look at the rapid fire coming out of Frank. Motep.
It's a good chance now. Right. Now Eternal need to go super safe. They cannot miss the pressure now. They don't need to rush anything. They need to just to hold a bit to find the abilities and the right opportunities to go, and they cannot miss this chance.
There's the patience that you were talking about. So going to drop this windmill gadget, try and find an opportunity. Oh, look at the slide through there. Great mechanic. That was not an easy knockdown. It definitely pays off for Eternal. The patience that you talked about really paid off.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would just do the escape move, put it on the corner, the whole game. I mean, because it's what it is, right? Try not to feed the Stu as much as possible. I think the Stu don't have a super right now. Obviously, it's really hard to feed it with not feed it with the Frank. But yeah, I mean, that's what we need to do.
You've got 15,000 health points. It's going to be hard for a lone Stu to try and stop it. They don't necessarily pocket the ball like you asked for, but they just saw an opportunity and took it. Better to just go ahead and win the game outright. I was confident somewhat in that draft on the left-hand side. Again, the Eternal Brawlers are great. But like you mentioned, it felt like the Frank was almost a choice out of, we have to pick this because if we let it slide, the other team is going to absolutely destroy us. So all things considered, the fact that this is 1-1, I think goes to show the quality of players Eternal are.
Yeah, I think they Barbados, Olimpo, but I mean, all Barbados players need to freeze a bit on the wheel, right? Which putting the pressure, yes, like they are doing. Stu is basically freezing while Kenji do his thing, and try to break as soon before they got all the pressure. That's happened in the second game, right?
Yeah, B for a long time, of course, going to be anti-tank, but Frank just with so many health points, and especially with the transition to this new kind of super where he gets a shield, it is impossible. There's no amount of shots that are enough to kill this guy. He's going to pop a hyper charge. That had to be a mistake. I don't see a reason why you would do that. That is a blunder for sure. Wasted utility, and now Kenji's going to be close to dying as well. So in a 1v1 interaction, I think Olimpo Squad certainly enjoying that one. They love seeing that purple button is gone.
Yeah, it's interesting that to see at this level this kind of mistakes because that's really rare, right? But also the other team will know how to punish you if you make this mistake, right? You are Frank, you have one of the best hypercharge, you miss it, now you are gonna regret it.
Numbers for Eternal. Stu skating up the map, trying to build space for his teammates as the big Sting goes down. Windmill to protect him. This is one of the mechanisms that Mina relies on to succeed. Once it's burned, though, just going to be a lot easier for Olimpo Squad to move up this map. Yeah, Kenji making a great job on that top right-hand side, too. Now they're going to have plenty of space.
Yeah, I think we have seen the first game super chaotic, where it's really good for the blue team. And the second game super slow, which is really good for Eternal. And now we are seeing kind of mix of these two game styles, because one of them is better for the other team, right? So it's really interesting to see which game style is going to win.
All things considered, good on Eternal for not letting that one in easy. Frank with a dish away, and it forces the entire blue side to march backward. Now a hypercharge. Coway going to be letting loose. No connections there from the hammer hit. And Motep, of course, the squishiest brawler on his team, can't just march it alone. Stu will fall, trying to time that shot perfectly. B lining it up, and Kenji just has to be able to get some kills here. Otherwise, it's going to be Eternal rushing down the map.
That's pretty much what I said, right? So many hypercharges. We saw Frank missing a full hypercharge, and 1 minute later he used another one, and he probably close to the third one. So yeah, it's super chaotic, but that's a good news for Olimpo, to be honest.
In overtime, who do you think takes this if it goes to it?
Let's see, Mina, they need to push now before the map walls open. Then Willow will have hyper, but on open he's going to suffer a lot. So they need to do the move right now.
Oh, insane pass right there, and now the nets open up. Perfectly timed hypercharge super. Hurricane of Violence will knock him in the air, and Eternal can knock one down. You called it, Coach. Mina had to make a play, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, he has these insane abilities, right? But Willow didn't even push the pink button. The purple button, he didn't need it. But I mean, he relied on his teammate. He was probably keep it for the defense, but he didn't need it.
It really didn't look like they could make it in that first game. Olimpo Squad takes the game, looking very, very strong. But now we see some great moments once more from the Mina. As you said, she needed to make some plays. Didn't even get the most kills on her end. 7 kills on Kawe. Now we also finally know who's who on the left-hand side. Well, Super Bao was on Stu, indeed. Ice Crew on Kenji with a whopping 11 kills. So even though they open up the map quite a bit, that Kenji still worked out perfectly.
The Burbao PR department is thriving right now. 3 players and all of that action, so all of them look great. I mean, there's no way that you can do wrong. They're playing the devious work by them, by the way, but nonetheless, Eternal's still finding a way to win that set. I mean, all things considered after the draft, maybe that was just a wrong read of my situation, but I was pretty convinced with the Frank being a little bit of a forced pick. I thought maybe they get away with one there. Instead, though it's a knockdown goal, Mina's just a powerful brawler. That win rate doesn't lie.
I think it's this Star Wars is a good proof that killing or KD is not everything, right? It's important to know what's game mode are you playing, that to go for objective in case of Hudson, get the percentage right, in case just get the goals. We saw the Kenji with insane amount of kills, insane amount of damage, but sometimes that's not enough.
playing for the objective. They also have to do that in that next one. And luckily for them, this is actually about kills. We're heading over to Knockout now. Golden Gulch is the next map. And if they get the most kills here, the quickest, they will also win the moat. Really liked what we've seen so far from both of those rosters, both in the terms of draft and gameplay. Now in Golden Gulch, we've seen Rico pop off. Do you happen to know if any of those two teams have a very, very good Rico amongst their lines?
I can expect the Olimpo to play some Rico, not the main, but maybe we can expect them to have a bit more block, opening the map and snipers, but we can see some Rico.
I think that's certainly a possibility. In EMEA, Pedro, it really felt like this was one of the few maps that teams relied on this being a more long-range open affair. We're not necessarily just running tanks and assassins down the map. Is that something that you resonate with? Do you agree with that?
I will always vouch for the slow playstyle by the snipers, maybe break. I like the Rico. But because you can play anything later, right? You can go more aggro with the Brock, breaking aggressive, or we will just hold the gadgets. I mean, I'm that playstyle. Yeah.
Super Beach, by the way, was the casting debut of Pedro, so I feel like you definitely have a future here if you ever want to stop coaching, switch over to the better job, obviously, getting casting.
I always have a good time with it. Seen some common brawlers that we saw in the previous match as well on this map. So Brock, once again, first overall pick. I think that's mostly due to wall control, also having some range. I mean, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think RT is a great flex brawler. Byron kind of in the similar suit of empowering teammates with the heals, but also the poison damage can be really pesky. Has a gadget that can fan a shot into grass. So just vision also strong there too.
Yeah, I think the RT is, how you said, more flex, right? You are ready against tanks. And Byron, I think, there is better sniper, so I expect to have some strategy with the last pick. You can have some aggro to heal, because if you go on a sniper, you just go something like Piper or Bell, right?
Sure.
More safe.
Just hard commit.
But so I can expect something interesting.
And there comes the Rico that we mentioned before. Once again, Rico and Brock. We've seen this composition before. Spy coming in at last pick. Now, a buffy brawler that you can virtually play on every map at the moment. Now, last pick for the red roster here. I kind of would assume they want to go with a tank last pick here, as they already have the Byron. Otherwise, yeah, I would have loved to see a tick maybe left open here. Was banned out before in this map.
I think the strategy is to go for a Frank. Let's see what they pick already the Rico and the Spike, so they expect it, so they went for the ground.
Same category, right? I mean,
no, I'm pretty sure they went. I mean, they went because Olimpo was ready for it, right? No one would pick a Spike if you don't expect a hard tank. So maybe Eternal didn't expect so much anti-tank.
I do like to grow into Spike, specifically a squishy brawler. We do have someone that can open up the map though on the left-hand side. So with that Brock, as long as they open up the map, they should do just fine into that thrower. Set number 2 now for Olimpo Squad versus Eternal.
Great start for Eternal. Coming out of the lower bracket, have some players of history in this region. Motap trying to isolate himself as one of the best to do it. They're going to be spacing the floor early. The Grom pick, not something I expected. Into a matchup like Spike, I like it, but out of all throwers, why this one?
I think if you have a lot of vision at the start, is really safe in these kind of maps. There is other throwers like Sprout or Tick that are really good against third-time brawlers, but can have a lot of can have less counters at Grom, right? So if you know you have the last pick, you can pick the thrower that you feel more.
Well, unique draft out of Eternal. My diamond randoms are thrilling right now, knowing that Grom is getting played at a professional level, because they sure do love to pick it in my level.
I mean, we have seen already the Rico in the previous game. The Rico is really good getting the right that originally is the enemy zone, right? This map is kind of diagonal, so the right is for the enemy and you have the left. And when you cannot fight the Rico, just go to the other lane, right?
Eternal being overwhelmed right now. Not a lot of health points to go around. They have a healing super if they elect to use it, but I think it would be a mistake. They don't want to overdo it for Bao hopping in. Not enough for a takedown by Byron. They exhaust a little utility in that too. And going into this next round now, hypercharged super available. Another teammate with a super too. It feels like Olimpo Squad have an advantage in the next one as well.
Yeah, I think they need to fight for the left. They have the Grom vision. They need to. They have struggling so much. They're struggling so much with the Rico. Just forget about the Rico. Go left, get the left, and fight side to side. When you fight side to side, then the throwers pop off a bit. So that's the place that they need to look for.
Yeah, getting all the numbers on the left-hand side would also put them in a 3v2, but it's going to be Brock. Foot on the gas pedal. Ooh, and a hypercharge as well. Oh, he was feeling nasty. Tried to go for 2, not enough. Overdoing it a little bit. Rico on the right-hand side, not making any contact either. Eternal in trouble. Not quite out of it yet, but Motep's going to have to play pretty darn perfectly. Now a purple button being popped for Spike. This is where things get deadly. It is so difficult with so much damage going down from Spike in his current layout to grab kills. Overall, Olimpo Squad just felt like the safer, better team in that opening game.
I mean, we saw some really good skill move from both teams, right? That Brock popping the purple button to rush the ground was really good. He really know the speed that he get, and he really get used to it. And the movement from Motep on there was insane. It was not enough to dodge 3 guys, but yeah, it was really good.
So we'll see if they change things up here. It looks like Eternal are sending Braum a little bit of backup. RT, not necessarily hiding himself, but is concealed in that grass a little bit. Going to be taking out fanning shots, dealing with the needle grenades coming out of Spike. Brock in the middle of the map. Rico's still stagnant on that right-hand side, dealing with long-range Byron. I think this time they're going to be taking a much slower approach. Not really an opportunity to move up for either end.
I mean, that's a bit better, right, for Eternal. Now they freeze a bit every lane. They cannot get pushed, but I don't know how much can they hold. Like, we see the Byron not paying too much attention to the Rico, just trying to freeze. But I don't know if they are going to maintain this for late game.
Now migrating to that right-hand side. So Braum going to be shifting alongside Byron, who's trying to play the middle of the map. Ready to go with a super if necessary. Now Vision going down from the tower that Braum drops. Rico with the bounce shot. Typically doesn't love being against other throwers. Has a super, though. He's flashing that button. Will pop it. Ooh, and a complete whiff there. Now it's going to be a 3v3 with the Fog. Eternal finally have legs here. Few shots going down, and Braum just body blocking for his entire team, trying to charge up a super, will get a kill, but a Byron support brawler left all alone. No chance in that interaction.
Yeah, we can see the sniper that are really suffering in long range, right? That's all about the vision, right? If you got the push, you have the vision, you cannot really come close to a Spike that can sneak on you. Kinda the same for Rico. Then Brock zoning everywhere. It seems like in this kind of long map, the sniper should pop off, but they are suffering so much.
So the unique picker Grom so far not paying off too much. Few supers here and there, but even a brawler like Spike able to maintain. This time an opportunity though for Motep on the bottom right-hand side. Super going down, but also wasted as well. Thankfully for Eternal, they do manage to grab a kill out of it.
Yeah, I mean, they got the kill, but it's insane how to see how in this kind of map, this open map, long map, the Spike has already a sniper. That's really good for him. It's really rare to see this kind of brawlers that are supposed to be to contain some tanks, right? They are winning thrower, they are winning snipers, and that's all on him.
Yeah, not a traditional matchup that they're going to enjoy, and at this point, it's just Brock sitting still, doing his best to charge up super and get whatever he can muster, but ultimately going to fall. So a couple supers walking into this next round for Eternal. Finally a little life for them. Spike's definitely been a player to watch though, and now he's going to be sneaking down the skinny side of this left-hand lane. Brock once again taking the middle. The issue is though, you can't hide anywhere because that Grom gadget reveals you immediately.
Yeah, but it's really easy to take it off, right? So yeah, that scat don't stay too long. And somehow the Grom needs to push on the lane, right? The Grom is the win condition, kinda, the condition to get a lane for free. And he's not working at all.
Wild to think in our current meta of Franks and Mortises that something like a Grom could be a win condition. A Rico super off screen on the bottom right-hand side. Hypercharge goes down. Motep being preserved by Byron Seals, holding on for dear life, and now a Spike hypercharge. Gonna be clustering them in a corner. Rico still laying down heavy fire, a life plant to protect the Brock. Byron doing his best just to hold firm. Somehow Eternal survive all of them.
Yeah, basically the game is not over because of Jubileo. Healing, Jubileo holding and dodging on the mid by his own completely. And I think that was because of him. I was going to say they were going to win this one, but Spike dodged really good the Grom this time. And for me, this is so over.
Yeah, at this point in the 2v2, close call. Olimpo Squad holding on, but Spike's survival just too much. And now they'll match things up here. That was really impressive to watch. I thought the Grom was creative. Did you really feel like it came through the way they thought it would? Because I feel like at times, you know, mechanics aside, I just didn't see them align up in the start like I think you mentioned. Like, I feel like I would have rather seen them be more aggressive and take a more progressive approach.
Yeah, I think in the paper, Grom should always win a Spike, right?
Yeah.
But this map is a bit special. This map is the vision and the pressure is everything. And the new Spike is insane. You can win kind of any matchup, and yeah, it works.
Spike definitely a brawler that sticks out to me as one of the most banned, most picked, and the highest win rate of brawlers. Definitely a good pickup here from the side of Olimpo Squad. I also am a bit surprised that they didn't even open up the map too badly. The Chrome still had a lot of walls to stand behind, yet Olimpo Squad still won.
Some great sidestepping. Now we know it as Ice Crow. I was going to call him Berbao #1, but I just have no idea in the middle of the game who they're running to. Their in-game names. Ice Crow going to be the man on that spike. 4 kills apiece, so even distribution there. But I just felt like a lot of the times we were calling out the mechanics of them, right? The sidestepping, the dodging of Grom supers. And again, throwers traditionally do well into spike because spike relies on open space. Throwers, if they're hiding behind a wall, well, it's hard for spike or sharpshooters in general to land those shots. So the fact that he was able to get the better of Kawe, I think goes to show how well Vassetti played.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously you pick the Brock to be safe against throwers, but if you have a teammate that, I don't know if tell you or you feel like, no, I'm chill, I have the counter, I'm gonna win it, why do it, right? Why to waste those gadgets?
Yeah, very true. Brock didn't have to open the map, and they still won the match into a thrower. Very well played from them. Now, after getting as many kills as possible, the objective of that mode, we're heading over to Hunt Zone. A super interesting one here. We're on Ring of Fire once again. We have seen this map already before, Kenny. Ellie had an absolute pop-off moment from the side of Loud. Do you think she's going to be banned out now?
I think it's very possible. I think Ali is somebody that you have to consider. Somebody like Im. Oh, I was going to say, if Im's escapes, you have to consider it. One strategy we saw in EMEA last week with Reply Totem was running the Gray Im's combo. Obviously, that's not a possibility here. But for me, Pedro, I just feel like Im's is such a powerful brawler that even on a map like this where you wouldn't naturally consider her in most metas, now that because she is so good, I almost feel like you have to click the button just out of pure respect.
Yeah, I think Emeth is the best brawler right now. For me, it's one of the meta where we have the top 1 with a big gap with the top 2 brawler right now. And these teams are known to train, at least on the stats, with Poco, B, Aggro. But this Emeth is a surprise for me. Probably they wanted to leave everything open so they can pick another top brawler. Normally, what you do is you leave, if you expect them to pick Poco, Mortis, and Emeth, you leave all of them open so you have the other 2, right?
That is a very wise thing they've done here. I was about to say, they left open all of these brawlers. Frank is also left open. So with that Poco already on the field, I wouldn't be too surprised if they picked him up as well. Frank and Poco usually don't do too well into Ems though. She's a pretty good counter against both of them, one being a tank, one just having about the same range as the Ems. Let's see with what Eternal show up next. Still need some range, I feel. Never mind, Shelly isn't going to be... I think they fear the Frank from the left-hand side. Finks is going to come in for the range, so at least I got that one correct. I think Pam could still be an option here. Is going to do a fairly well job against the Finks specifically.
Yeah, it surprised me these last 2 picks from Eternal, right? Normally when you have an Nth, you need to... It's insane brawl, but you need a bit of support. Normally you put it with a TP, with something that can grant you the push, the control, but he's going to play alone. Anyway, I think it's going to kind of be insane. Obviously, Shelly and Nth get to the enemy bush. It's GG's.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially if they walk up there. So instead, they're going for a much more control-oriented baller. Grim and Frostbitten to kind of cut off the middle of the map. The ice is still something super valuable, I imagine, in a situation like this.
Yeah, I mentioned Lu a couple of times coming into the first time we've seen this map. Now Lumi kind of does the same with 2 ice rings as her gadget. I'm super excited for this one. Did not see the Shelly come in, did not see the Poco come in, and then nothing really to follow it up.
Should be a fun one. 1-1 on the scorecard. Eternal team trying to cause a little bit of racket, mix things up over in South America. We've seen what Olimpo Squad can do. Last year, A7's roster made it to multiple semifinals. They're looking to climb their way back up to the top. Both of these teams looking to prove that they deserve a date with Loud, to prove they are more than just the tier 2 destination, trying to get themselves out of jail there. So now I'm going to call him Berbao #1 on the right-hand side. Going to be running the Mortis while Poco in the mid. Lumi playing alongside it. I think it's going to be a game of cat and mouse. It's really going to be Shelly trying to shadow that Mortis, and the other 2 brawlers just have to win the 2v2.
Yeah, basically we're going to see exactly a 2v2 on the mid. Then Mortis is going to try to put some chaotic on the other 2. At the same time that he's going to run away from the Shelly. We saw a really good synergy now trying to kill that Shelly, and works really good. And now it's the turn of Mortis to do a space at the same time that he's trying to avoid the Shelly.
That was a phenomenal combo. It was almost Mortis baiting out the Shelly so that the Lumi could activate super, stun Shelly, Mortis swoops in and does the rest. And you're seeing it on the scorecard. It is showing 55% almost out of the blue side, and not even double digits to mustard for Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, the early is for sure for Olimpo Squad. But as we said, if Shelly managed to heal up or end on the bush, it's going to be really good for them. Mortis just need to run away. Don't do that. Don't free Shelly, please. Just run away. Look for for the other two, and you will do a really good job.
Yeah, and I think he's frustrated with himself too. Throwing down a little angry pin, and now a super from Jubileo will be able to stay indestructible for a moment. They're just trying to clasp for that wall, but a Poco hypercharge distributing a shield, really going to help the cause there as Eternal slowly climbing their way back. Shelly wants all the smoke though, knows that a shotgun is enough to beat a shovel, and will deploy Mortis back to spawn.
Yeah, that 3 wall on the left is really important for the red team. Shelly and Enth can use it really good, but Shelly needs to be careful of not breaking it, right? Sometimes you are on the side of the wall, you really want to use your super, but Enth will be destroyed if you do that.
Trying to navigate their way around that, and now all of a sudden Eternal have come back almost 60% in this game, trying to climb all the way up to 100. Now they'll activate the Think Super and Super, all the utility being used. Why not? Eternal want to win it right here, right now. A Shelly Blast will force the blue roster away. A surgical strike coming out of them. Really impressive comeback.
Yeah, it's really important that they don't let the Enth get to that spot. We were talking about the push. We saw that she don't even need the push. Just get to that wall. So we need probably Lumi on the left all the time, avoiding. We need a lot of communication. Morta is the one that is going more aggro position, so he cannot know where the Enth is coming from. He needs to know because 2 seconds later is Enth on that wall, and it's 20%.
Olimpo Squad certainly going to be kicking themselves, all things considered. Had a massive lead in game number 1, but it was Eternal who found a way back into it. So now Lumi taking to that left-hand side, like you mentioned, that L-safe wall, very important. Shelly, though, not even dealing with the Mortis, just wants to go for the Poco. If they push him away, it's going to allow things to get in the middle. Now they've got a super going down. Jubileo has a little room to expand. Mortis trying to expand their territory a little bit, but quite a reversal of what we saw in the opening game. This time it's Eternal taking off.
Yeah, I think Eternal don't want to have the same weak early than before, so they went for different strat, right? The Shell is waiting for Mortis, and Mortis just freeze. You maybe lose the other 2v2, so they try something different. Work a bit, but now again we are in the same early.
So about even now. Poco activating Hypercharge. Shelly up in his face once again, trying to activate Pluck Blast. Will be careful. Doesn't want to waste that powerful resource. And this gadget can be so devastating. It just cuts off that entire middle of the map, and now the blue squad can walk forward.
Yeah, now we see a Mortis a bit more careful. Just go in and out, right? Don't try to get the kill and suicide. He just trying to get someone low, make him use abilities, use the ammo, and then come back, heal up, and go again. He died sadly now, but I think it's working for him now.
Opportunity for Eternal. Hypercharge being popped by Finks. Shelly now operating on this left-hand side, and Mortis shadowing. Trying to bait this out with Poco low HP. They have to buy their time, and it's Shelly, of course, winning that natural matchup. Now the right hand in, though. Ims being cut off, and Ims gets around to this right-hand side corner with free access. Basically game over for Olimpo.
Yeah, I mean, Lumi's doing a really good job now trying to hold the Ims, because if the Ims get there, it's really bad for them. But at the same time, he needs also to help on the mid, right? So Lumi need to be everywhere, and it's really hard.
And unfortunately, Lumi can't do everything all at once. It's going to be Eternal trying to hold on to this lead. Now Shelly dashing forward, away. Mortis lurking. Activates Super, goes for one. They need a double kill. He barely escapes with his live follow-up shots from Brabal. This is an opportunity for Olimpo Squad.
Yeah, it's really good because Mortis went, but didn't went alone this time. They synchronized a lot too, so Poco can... I don't know if he got the heal, but he pushed with them, so if Mortis put the low, maybe Poco can finish the kills, and it's really important for them to have this synergy.
Eternal putting up a great team fight. 10% away. They back Olimpo Squad entirely down and losing another member. Mortis a great brawler, but not within striking distance. It was an excellent start to this set for Olimpo Squad, but is Eternal walking away with a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I mean, those 5-10 seconds are really important because we saw Mortis spawning with super and hypercharge. Maybe that means that you could have managed a bit more your second before dying, right? Maybe heal up and used it because a kill with that ability could have been game.
Hindsight's obviously 20/20, but now that we've kind of seen this go down, Lumi has been a good brawler in the past metas, right? But she's had some nerfs along the way, not necessarily as prominent. Do you feel like there was possibly a better answer? Do you think the Lumi made sense on paper? It just obviously, it started really well for Olimpo Squad, but it got out of hand rather quickly.
I mean, I think I believe that Lumi is a brawler that depends on the hands, that can work or cannot work. I could say that Guesty on some, actually in some hot zone, he bring it that when no one was playing it on EME and worked really good. So it's depend on the player.
I do really like a good...
I like a good Lumi too. I think having that makes a lot of sense. I see the explanation. Obviously, any brawlers in Gusty hands looks pretty good right now. Things in the middle of the map, a tried and true one. Ims is somebody that's the best brawler in the game. Sometimes it's that simple, Pedro. Look, I'm not a coach, but if I see an Ims open, I'm probably just going to click the button.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ims is the best brawler right now. Sometimes we joke around this we forgot to ban it and empties on the screen. We just dodge, right? No, we don't, but we kind of it's so insane. I said that he needs some support. He didn't need it. He popped off a lot alone, so yeah.
So far, we definitely don't have a 3-0 happening, so I'm already happy with our two quarterfinals that we've seen. The first one, 3-1, Loud versus Ningam Segura. Now in this one, we're 2-1 up for Eternal. So you're actually looking so good with your predictions right now, Pedro. He's been the only caster to actually predict them to win.
Yeah, I think the experience is insane here, especially when you are in a multi-final already. The nerves can come really hard, and knowing you will always lose a set or lose 2 sets. And knowing that you can always come back and trusting your teammate is really important.
I was really undecided between the two. Honestly, I just went with stats. And in scrims, Olimpo Squad have just looked a bit better. I have to say, though, no other team has scrimmed as often as Eternal, so that definitely shows off here. They're doing super well. They just know how to draft. That Shelly pick was a bit unconventional, but it obviously worked out. So let's see what they have for us in store here on Bridge 2-4. Kaze is going to be the first pick here. A very aggressive brawler to kick things off here. Chuck is out of the equation as he's banned from Eternal.
Yeah, we can expect from Olimpo to have a bit of more aggressive playstyle, right? And we can expect from Eternal to be more conservative with throwers, anti-tanks like the Otis, Brox, even 8-bits from far away, Nannies. And yeah, let's see. We are gonna see these fights of playstyles.
Yeah, two strategies really clashing. And there's the 8-bit that you mentioned too. Something we saw in EMEA last week as well. And I feel like 8-bit often forgot about as a brawler in general, but I think it's a really creative solution to go against these single sharpshooters that are kind of plaguing this map right now. Because he's got so many health points, it's really difficult to take him down. He may be slow, but if you can march him up that map, if you can somehow get him onto the other side, lethal damage dealer. So I think he covers a lot of bases for a team.
I mean, I think it's really hard to play in high competitive level, but once you get to the point where you can have value, you will have insane value. Sadly, have so many counters. One of my favorite, 8-bit, just for you to know. But sadly, have so many counters. Brock, Nanny, Bell will make you in trouble.
I was about to call the Nanny here as well. I also feel like she's doing so well into an 8-bit. 8-bit already slow, so it's a bit easier to hit your shots with those single shot brawlers. Piper, Nanny, all the ones you mentioned already. Bell could also come in clutch here when an 8-bit bounces with his own turret. It's a bit unfortunate. What I'm really looking forward to here is maybe a Crow picked up by either of those two teams. He's going to do a lot of damage and going to do well for either side at this point.
There's the long-range Pierce, so definitely a little more conservative outside of that. Kaze, Nani going to be a long-range option. Pierce, not necessarily crazy damage to something like an 8-bit on a high safe, but if you're reloading enough shots, it definitely adds up rather quickly. So defensive option here on Bridge 2-4 with the Otis. Kind of a flex pick, if you will. We had this conversation earlier, but there's some tanks that are, some anti-tanks full defense. Cordelius is along those lines. Otis, though, is a little bit of a hybrid. He can play a lane, he can contest a mid-range brawl. You might have trouble with some of those longer-range ones, but does a little bit of everything on this map, and I think that's why he's so early on.
Latem special!
Yay!
Yeah, I didn't expect the Juju. I expect them to have something to add some damage to the save, right? Right now they relay Kena on the 8-bit one. That is the one that have the worst matchup so far, and in the case of Olimpo, we have Kaze, we have Nani TPs, the range of Pierce, so they have more win condition. But the Juju have a really good matchup. Remember that it's heist, right? We need to go for objective, we need to go for damage. Maybe it is enough to make a space for the 8-bit, maybe it's not.
So Juju's goal going to be trying to expand space to allow 8-bit to walk forward. If 8-bit's raining down that heist safe, life looking good for Eternal, who are one set away from advancing to a semifinals. Olimpo Squad, that's something in the second half of last year's A7 they did many times, though I'm certainly not counting them out.
Yeah, I think the comp of Eternal is much harder to work. You have so many possibilities with Olimpo. But it's all about the skill, right? If Eternal made to get his way to the safe, it's going to be a lot of damage.
A lot of eyes on Motep in this offseason, especially with the last-second roster swap. He said it himself, felt overshadowed, worked to a new team, reunites with Jubileo, and now he's working the middle of the map alongside his teammates. Coway raining down 1K shots on that safe, and they're so close to getting that 75% threshold. And there they go. Finally top it off. Well worth it from Jubileo to maybe overextend a little bit. Even if this cost him his life, still well in an advantage.
Yeah, that wall that Otis got, even if he died for it, is really important. Sometimes you need to suicide for the objective. But those 2% with a shield can change the whole game, right? You can think that it's really close, but it's not. And those shield, everything for those shield these days.
It's really tough for 8-Bit to dodge that circle out. If Pierce just places it anywhere remotely on 8-Bit and he's that low of HP, there's no way the slow arcade machine's going to be able to dodge that. Nani with a little TP to the top. Now they've hit that 75% marker. Really important. But Jubileo still letting loose on that left-hand side. Finally goes down, but only 5% from getting to the 50% marker.
Yeah, I mean, that he did say to defend the Otis. The Pierce have a lot of damage to the safe if you have a good gadget and you have some bubbles on the floor. But he decided to defend. Sometimes it's better to defend, have the full control, so you can decide the piece of the game, and that's what they are doing.
Kawe feels like this is a moment to strike and will activate that hypercharge. Does manage to dodge it a little bit, but caught up in the fan storm that Kaze drops. So now they're going to be able to gain a little more access to this right-hand side. Motep, a pivotal player here, going down. So it's once again going to be the numbers advantage for Olimpo Squad. This defense has been really solid. It might just turn to offense if Eternal's not careful.
Yeah, I mean, Olimpo knows that the 8-bit is the biggest threat, right? They are putting all the abilities on him, so he cannot get even to the mid part of the map. Even the Kaze that normally his super is all about doing damage, he's putting on control. So we can see that they really know what to do, then they are going for it.
Time simply running out. Olimpo Squad would have to get through an entire another layer of this high safe onion, but there's just not enough space, not enough brawlers, just clean execution from Olimpo Squad, and they finally polish off that heist safe. So game going to the blue side, still a lot of life left. I felt like that was a much better showing from them, and in general, I would say Juju, who you mentioned, has great paper matchups. I didn't really feel like she ever got to a point where she was thriving. We didn't really see Grieger on the ground much, which is telling me that she's not hitting enough shots, but telling me she's not charging super. I feel like 8-Bit just couldn't shine because other lanes weren't.
I think Juju is focusing too much his lane. I think he needs to forget about the Pierce, that he's just going to feed and get damage and help the 8-Bit to get on the point. They need to play for the 8-Bit, everything needs to be for the 8-Bit, and yeah, that's where they're trying to now. I think the Olimpo expected that, so they double lane. But yeah, and now it's a few damage from Eternal is coming.
That's a great win considering that they were double laning, because now 8-Bit can expand his territory a little bit. Juju can still hug those walls, and now with extra damage coming in from the super, that's really valuable. Tough job for Jubileo. Mid-range brawler, like I mentioned, can be used for anti-tank. Now battling one of the longest range brawlers in the game. But Verbal, at least that Verbal on my screen, is trying to do his best to hit shots. Not enough though. Now with the extra spawner on the ground, Eternal should be able to do plenty of work here.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing it right. Motep is just helping on 8-Bit lane. We are seeing a 2v2 on the right, a 1v1 completely frozen on the left. Jubileo is winning though. I don't know if he should. Probably not, but he's doing really good.
So they delete 25% like it's nothing.
Yeah, now
they need to as well. Yeah.
They need to kill that Kaze over and over. Forget about the Pierce. Don't even shoot at the Pierce. Forget about him. Do your lane, kill the Kaze, so 8-Bit can suicide for damage.
Yeah, tried to suicide, but unfortunately couldn't survive long enough to expand and get the tags. Used a gadget as well. Now Jubileo left all alone on this left-hand side. The good news for Eternal is they have such a large lead. With a minute on the clock and not a scratch of damage on their safe, they can afford him a couple mistakes here and there, but it just feels like Eternal have owned this left-hand side. 8-Bit's been able to have his way on the right. It's going to have to be a real turnaround from the blue end.
Yeah, we saw a cross kill on the left, Otis and Nani killing each other. That's really important for Eternal, because all they need to do is to freeze on the left, because freezing Otis is doing damage, and probably I think he did even more on the half than the damage that was taken.
Looked like a misplay out of Nani too. TP's right in front of Jubileo's face, but meets him with a mute button, so Nani instantly gone from the map. This time they're switching things up. Motep dashing to this left-hand side, playing alongside Jubileo. They get a takedown in the mid. There's just no signs of life coming in from Olimpo Squad.
They just find new routes for the AP to reach the mid. They decide that the right is not working, so they just went mid. He's gonna suicide again for damage, gadget on the save. Enough damage, and they have an insane lead.
Insane lead, and with 10 seconds on the clock, several layers to go. Despite Olimpo Squad's efforts, not going to be enough here. So all of a sudden, Eternal turned things around in this set and will be on match point. In game number 3, the blue side has to adjust. They send in a double engagement on that right-hand side to try and deal with 8-Bit, and the fact that that failed instantly led way for them to just delete 25%. Like you mentioned, 8-Bit is a key player to watch on that top-hand side. If he even gets a remote amount of time, just a little sliver of damage can lead to so much, especially with that gadget. We're seeing the extra credits go down, and because of that, they get even extra fire for every regular shot he takes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Olimpo just need to do the game super chaotic. They need to get so many as much super as possible, especially the Pierce, that is the one that can destroy that 8-Bit, but they're not doing it, right? The playstyle that Eternal need to bring is really hard to play. Seems like not, but it's really hard, and they're doing it really good.
feels like Eternal are just playing better in game number 2 in the start of game 3. No damage being dealt yet. Finally, Pierce is able to get a takedown. But 8-Bit has established a turret, so now that's going to be his domain on the right-hand side. Kaze, tall task, just trying to skate up, avoid shots from the 8-Bit, but has so much HP, you almost have to play it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that 8-Bit is using a lot of turrets on the back. Seems like he should not, but that grant him the control. They have to grant him not to die, which is really important, so the Kaze don't get to the safe. And it's working because the Otis is slowly pushing the Nani and getting some percentage. So if 8-Bit doesn't die, they don't get damage.
Olimpo Squad have to find some semblance of map control. They just keep losing brawler after brawler. Eternal, being patient. They haven't overdone it yet. There's a couple good tags that appears as slowing on the 8-Bit, making him even slower than he already is. Now hiding, lurking is going to be the Kaze on the right-hand side. Beamed down by 8-Bit though. Now a super letting loose 25%.
That's 2 shields.
Gone.
That's 2 shields.
Yeah, already expanding.
Yeah, if they don't get that turret fast and they are able to do another new push, that's going to be a second shield.
Devastating.
It's coming, the shield.
Now Gregory on the ground as well. Oh, that is a tough beat as well. All those pierce shots on the ground and they can't even be used. On the top end, Nani just doing a little bit of light work compared to what Eternal are doing. On the bottom of your screen, you can see it. 8-Bit, just so many shots pouring in. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I think they are just getting out of control. The Nani is trying to TP, leaving the Otis alone on the safe. They're trying just to do some damage, but you're getting the damage back, so I think it's not worth it.
Not over yet. Still 30 seconds on the clock, but a long way to go. They have to get to at least that 50% marker, and they got to do it fast because otherwise there's just not enough physical time for them to come back.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing really good. They are not dying, which is super important now that they need to keep the control. Just don't die. Don't let your lane reach to the safe. Even if you don't reach the safe, it's fine. And with 10 seconds left, 1 shield up, it's gonna be GG's.
Eternal on autopilot at this point. All the hard work already done. Just a simple defense to get themselves a win. Beautifully executed. The gameplay out of Motep and his teammates impeccable there in that final set. It'll grant them a 3-1 lead in the opening month of the year and entry to the semifinals.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we saw that they can bring any type of playstyle on. They have been here around for a long time already, and they proved it today.
Motep now playing for Eternal and did pay off in the end. Pedro, the only one who actually predicted them to win this one. Olimpo Squad looked a little better in the scrim. That was my reason for picking them. Now, what was Olimpo Squad missing today, Pedro? Do you feel like they played maybe a bit too aggressive?
I think they had a game plan. We could see it really good on the last set. They have a game plan, and if it don't work, they don't have tools to be creative, and with the same brawler you have, find the new routes. We saw 3 games literally the same, always the same lanes, not changing anything. We saw Eternal changing a bit to reach that, make that 8-Bit to reach the save, to make some space with the Juju, but I couldn't see that on Olimpo.
I really like that.